Aliyah. Big words. And he oversees all Aliyah and Krita, and that's why he's here. I think he's very brave to be here, and we have a very nice relationship with Alex, KeepOlim, because I think it's very important that we have a relationship. We're on the same team. We're working together to keep Olim in Israel and helping them to succeed here, to integrate here, so you'll have husbands, wives, kids, and be part of Israel. We're not actually Olim, we're called New Israelis. And I think that's very important. We're New Israelis. We all have a Tudat Zu'ut. We could all go out and vote. We could serve in the army. We get our darkones, our passports. We're Israeli. For better, for worse. This is our home. Y'all chose it. Going around the room and talking to everybody here. Y'all from different countries. So literally, you guys have hit every continent in the world. And that's something really, really important, that all of us have the same issues. Doesn't matter what country we're from, we have the same issues. So that's why we're here, to work together to solve these issues, to make your Aliyah more successful. So Alex was kind enough and brave enough to come here. I just ask that all of you, before you just be polite, nice, and Alex and his assistant Alona will help you with your issues, and let us begin. How's that? Okay, so here's Alex.
So let's start, circle of names and where you're from. Okay, so.
I'm Beatrice. I'm from Sweden.
Sweden?
Yeah.
How long are you in Israel?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 years. Where from?
Weeks.
Weeks.
We just arrived.
Greece? Weeks? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you speak Hebrew already?
Fun.
Okay, you're Magda, right? From Georgia?
I'm 2 years and a half in Israel, something like this, but I did Aliyah 1 year ago, in November 2000.
Do you speak Hebrew?
Second.
קצת כן.
No.
קצת okay.
No, מדברת, יותר מי.
Okay. What about you?
My name's Kelly. I'm from South Africa.
Okay.
I came to Israel about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I haven't officially made Aliyah yet, but I'm doing Aliyah in December.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sami from Venezuela. I made Aliyah about 1 year and a half ago.
Okay.
No Hebrew.
What is the situation in Venezuela now?
That's
Terrible, right?
terrible.
Okay. Is there still a big community?
For what I know, there's still a community work like the half alive, but every day is smaller, smaller, and smaller.
Okay. What about you?
My name is Gabriel. I just made Aliyah.
Show yourself to the phone.
So I just came here about 2 months ago.
Where are you from?
Where? From New York.
From New York.
Yes.
It's like a
And-
separate country, no?
Yes, it's very similar to Israel in many ways. I don't know. As far as feedback, there's a lot I'd like to say. I think that this talk is the beginning of like a larger conversation. I think you realize that there's so many Olim in Israel, whether they've been here for many years or for a few years, that want to contribute, that want to make things better. And I think it's a matter of keeping this conversation going, especially with officials like yourself. Like, super important. I'm very supportive.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Morgan. I'm from France, and I made Aliyah 2 years ago.
From where from?
France,
Which city?
Paris.
Paris. Okay. What about you?
My name is Bear. I'm coming from Canada. I made Aliyah about a year ago. At least my body did. My mind came in around 6 months ago.
Where have you been before? The mine.
In Montreal.
In Montreal.
Or somewhere over the Atlantic, or maybe,
Guys, can you come closer because I cannot see you?
Yeah,
Or maybe
sure.
sit on the bar. So what's your name?
Only in Slavic.
Okay. Where are you from?
From Ukraine.
From Ukraine. How long are you here?
Almost 8 months.
8 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Leami, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Liami. I came from Beyatzot Tigrit 4 years ago, and I'm here. This is where I am supposed to be.
For better or for worse.
For better, for worse, for richer or poor, I married the country of Israel.
Alona, what about you?
I'm Alona. I came to Israel 18 years ago from Russia, and I work with Misrad.
Ala, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I was made Aliyah in 1990, and I'm a spokesman of Ministry of Reality.
And you're from Ukraine, right?
Yes, I'm from Ukraine.
Okay. So guys, as you can you introduce yourself also?
Yeah. I'm Rachel, I was born here.
As you can see, you're the minority here, right? Okay, my name is Alex. I made Aliyah in 1992 from Ukraine. And I think that you told that I just realized that there are a lot of Olim. That's not true. I know it all the time. Even before I got this position, because actually for me this position is like closing the circle. Because when I came here, I was 14 years old. I came with my mom only to a huge city in Israel called Ashkelon. In 1992, it was really small, and most of it was desert and Pardesim, and few houses. And the integration was not easy, because for the first maybe 2 years or 1.5 years, I couldn't connect myself to Israel at all. I wanted to come back. I was always progress with my mom why she brought me here. But then things started, somehow came to order, and I went to the army. I made a 5-year service. I was in Givati. I was a company commander, and then I started working in Shabak. And after 8 years, when I finished my education, the MBA, I tried myself in private business all over the world, in Georgia also, for 4 years, and I did that. And then I came back and I was asked to become a Director General of Ministry of Aliyah Integration, and for me it's not just a job, because it's actually closing the circle, because there are at least 3 million people here who was not born in Israel. So this country is country of Olim, and for us it's very important to make sure that the integration is effective as much as possible. And I also want to thank you, Ami, for your work. We met 1.5 years ago probably, and we started working relations together, and I think that you're doing a very good job, because I know that you're not paid for it, and I know that you do it as a volunteer, and I know that you really care, and I'm very happy that we have these relations, these direct relations, when you can address us, the problems of Olim, and we are trying to solve them. So our ministry actually deals with almost all the spheres of Olim lives, starting from education, Hebrew lessons, and probably you know that today you have a couple of options to study Hebrew, except of the regular Ulpan. You can go there. We also have an option to go to the private Ulpan, and we finance it by 100%. It's very important, because we understand that current Aliyah is not like it was in 90s when we came and we sat there and waited for and made our steps in Klita. I think that today the world is much more smaller, people are much more mobile, and we need to be flexible enough to make sure that we give you a proper services. So also we have a bunch of programs which are directed to the employment. It's starting from almost 3,000 professional courses that you can get, and we finance 80% of it up to 7,000 shekels. It's very important, because we give you an option not only to become a professional in Israel or make to continue your career from abroad. You also can change your career at all. if you want to do something else, something that you dreamed about, this is the time. You can get a financing from us. Also, we called it Encouraging Employment Program. You are the only group in Israel who comes to the employee and says, listen, I bring you money. Because we finance half of your minimal salary during first 6 months in the condition that the employee keeps you at work for 1 year. So we give you an option to achieve or to gain the working experience in Israel, which is very important. Also, if you have a licensed profession like doctors, advocates, accountants, engineers, we finance all the courses that you need to do until the exam, and we're also financing the translation of the document up to 4,000 shekels. We also have some big problems called Aliyah Alpine, that will bring people from abroad to some specific profession, and we do it together with the employees, with the big companies. So people go through the Ulpan and then make a professional course, and they already know that they have a job, which is very important. Also, we help people to open businesses. We have a professionals who can help you and advise you during all the way, starting from the idea up to the business plan, and we also give you credit, the best, with the best conditions, up to 250,000 shekels by 2 tranches. One is 125 and 125. So if someone thinks about opening a business, you can reach us and we will help you. Any of you have children?
Yes.
Children. How old?
Well, she's an adult.
Okay.
30.
Okay. So also we help children in school. We're giving them additional lessons, which are financed fully by the ministry, and today we have more than 6,000 children who receive this help. We also help to the elderly people, and we help soldiers, lonely soldiers. I'm just coming from a big ceremony of Knafayim, you know Knafayim program? Wings. Did you hear about it? It's a mutual program of us together with the Ministry of Defense and the Jewish Agency, and of course IDF, and we give the lonely soldiers, I don't like this expression, but that's what it is. So we give them full support during the army and after the army. We also give them additional monthly payment for 540 shekels. It's an additional that what they receive from the IDF and from the Ministry of Defense. And we also finance fully education, higher education for Olim. And probably that's it. Maybe one more thing, we're now in the middle of a digital revolution, because we understand that in order to be relevant and in order to be helpful, we need to live in 21st century. So today we renewed our website, and we also tried to rewrite the content so regular people will understand it. It's in 6 languages: Hebrew, English, Russian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. And also we launching a personal cabinet, so you will you can enter to this cabinet by very simple identification, and you will see all the information which is related to you. How much money did you receive? How much money you are eligible to receive? All the programs which are relevant to you. If you're a student, so for student. If you're a soldier, for soldier. If you're looking for a job, and so on and so on. System of making the appointment. Now you can do. You don't need to call and to wait. You can do it just through mobile. If you download the app called My Visit, you find our Ministry of Aliyah and Integration, and you can easily make an appointment with us. Also, we have a call center. The number is *2994. There we speak also all the languages, six languages. So if you have some questions, information, or some help, you can call there, and we will try to help you. So we are trying our best. I know that we are not ideal. there are still a lot of challenges that we need to deal with. But I think these kind of meetings, where we can talk directly, will help us to become more effective and maybe to become more efficient. So I think that I spoke enough already. Now we can ask questions, guys.
Hi, who wants to go first?
Can I?
Sure.
Hi, as I mentioned, my name is Magda. And first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, because I really think that it's once in a lifetime opportunity to meet someone like you in person and talk about our
No, I do it a lot.
in this.
I meet these people a lot. Yeah, it's not one time of it's okay.
Okay, at least for me it was. I'm almost 3 years in Israel, and I never had an opportunity. And exactly, it's very funny because actually I have some specific issue that it's addressable to your ministry. Just to very shortly introduce myself, I was born and raised in Georgia until the age of 18. I did my first degree in Vienna, then I returned for 2 years in Georgia, and then I came here to Israel with the Masa program. I volunteered a lot, by the way, with the Jewish agency in Israel also. I opened there like volunteering Georgia Union of Jewish Students, and we sent a lot of kids like my age students abroad to integrate with the World Union of Jewish Students and European Union of Jewish Students. And I came to Israel in 2016, but I didn't do Aliyah until 2017 November. So it's like almost 1 year that I'm in Israel. I studied here in Bar-Ilan. I did my second degree there. I completed it. And almost 1 year and a half I work in Deloitte in consulting and risk advisory. So coming now to the point, first of all, you were speaking when you came outside, and I was thinking that thanks to this country, I believe that I'm successful, and this country is like sky is the limit. And if anyone is thinking about leaving, or if you're thinking that you have some issues, please don't, because there is always a way in this country. And I've struggled a lot in the beginning for 1 year and a half, and now I feel that I have come to the point that I'm extremely happy, regardless of small issues or maybe big issues. But there is always a way in this country, and you're not alone. And there are so many people like you, and I'm sure that together we'll find the solution. So just very shortly about my issue, and then I will give stage to other people. So I did a second degree with the Masa. So it was before I did Aliyah, and Aliyah I did in, as I mentioned, 2017 November. So I'm less than 1 year in Israel, and I work in Deloitte, but I don't have an accounting degree. So I decided to do like a degree in Limudei Cheshbonaut in the Bar-Ilan University, which is like 2 years and a half. And I applied for the scholarship to your ministry, but I got rejected. The reason for the reject was that I already got the support from Ministry of Aliyah and Integration. Now, like,
But did you receive any support from us?
no, that's the point.
So you did the second degree on your own?
Masa financed me, but it was pre-Aliyah, and it has nothing to do. I know a lot of people who did Masa, and it didn't affect in any ways their ability to do the studies. So I got a rejection, and I went to Vadat Harigim. I brought the document also from my work that they obliged me to do this degree, because I cannot, it got moot in this field if I don't do this degree. So it's for me very, very important to do this, and I'm waiting for the answer. But I just wanted to ask you if you think, first of all, that I'm correct, if you think it's applicable to me, if you know. And second, what can I do in order to convince them that I'm kind of right? And thank you.
So in general, if you receive the financing from Masa, means that you received the financing from the government, because the government is a partner of Masa for 50%. 50% is government, 50% is Jewish agency. So I think that this is the problem. This is why you don't receive the financing from us. What you can do is just leave your details to Alona, and we will recheck it again at home, and we will come back to you with the answer. I cannot promise anything, because the rule says that you can receive the aid once. And if, the rules consider the financing that you received from Masa as a government financing, probably it will be a problem to receive another one. but we will see what can we do. Okay?
Thanks.
Okay, who's next?
Hi, my name is Morgan. Just a small introduction. I come from France. I was living in China before, so it's not my first time as an expatriate. Even here is different because I have a special connection to Israel. I'm not here in any country. So first of all, I will start with something positive. All friends that I am, I can also be grateful. The first 6 months, I made Aliyah in Haifa, and it was really amazing environment. I love the Ulpan.
By the way, one second. All of you live in Tel Aviv?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, me
No.
in Haifa.
Huh?
In Ramadan.
Ramadan. Okay.
Yeah. So first 6 months were really amazing. Very nice soft landing. Actually, catch up Hebrew pretty well at the beginning, even if afterward I understood that it was not enough. So then I chose to take a job which was underqualified, but I didn't complain at that time because it was part of the game, and even if it was hard, actually I learned a lot. But after that, I felt stuck because I wanted to find, and I'm still looking for something related to my industry and my experience.
What is your industry?
So I was working in a garment industry, making clothing, but I'm not focused on that only. The main thing is like I got a master degree in marketing. I got experience in business development, in sales and purchasing, and I'm also speaking Chinese along with English, French, and I'm proficient in Hebrew. But I put really a lot of effort to look for jobs, and I also ask for help among all institutions. And I'm facing a wall, really. Like by my personal research, I always have open stage to explain my case and to sell myself, and it always ends up by denial or like I'm rerouted to some shady sales telephonic phone platforms, which I hate, and I refuse to work in that kind of industry. I'm not here to scam other people. And also I thought about having a new formation or like qualifying myself, but I'm over 30 years old, so I'm not entitled. I'm 35 in a few months. I'm not entitled to get help for studies. So I'm seriously thinking about leaving, not because I'm upset, but because I'm really lacking resources. And I've done some small jobs, but like I come to the point when it's difficult to live on small job, and I'm just like.
Morgan, right?
Yes.
Did you approach our ministry in Haifa?
You mean Misrad Aliyah?
Misrad Aliyah.
Yeah, approach it.
Did they address you to the Ma'of center?
Yes.
And
I got a very bad experience. I got my first job with them. I can be grateful for that. But they are working with a pool of 3 or 4 companies that they are using, and I'm using this word on purpose. They are using Olim. Everyone quitting after 2 or 3 months because they are really entry position and in a very bad condition, and it's going nowhere actually. Maybe they don't have anything else to propose, but it's like talking to a wall. And
you try only in Haifa, or you?
No. I'm looking in the center. I'm really keen to find a job here in Tel Aviv, to move to Tel Aviv. But right now I'm looking remotely because I don't want to engage big expenses.
Did you approach our ministry here in Tel Aviv?
No, I haven't. Should I?
We will try to connect you.
Okay.
With our head of the employment department.
Okay.
And maybe she will somehow try to help you to address you to the right person.
Okay.
You should understand that our ministry, we are not a job placement agency.
I understand.
We can build a platform and we can, give you the first push. But then you need to try by yourself. Today, actually, there are a lot of employees seek for good professionals in many fields. And as you told me, you speak 4 languages at least, right? So I think you have a chance. You just need, the first word which every Olim learns in Israel. You know what is it?
You learn that before you make Aliyah. You learn it with the agencies that help you get here.
I just went from the ceremony, and the Minister of Defense, he's also Oleh Hadash. So he was telling a story about his Aliyah, and he told that when he came to Ulpan, a lot of people were sitting like this. And when he said why, they told him that everyone comes to him and says, Savlanu, 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 Savlanu. In 90s, there was a big wave of Aliyah from post-Soviet Union. And a lot of doctors and professors and engineers and, you name it, teachers came together in one time. And
don't forget the musicians.
The musicians, of course. The musicians still, have a problem. And these people worked in undergraded jobs for a long time. And I'm very happy to say that today, the situation and the programs that we provide to KeepOlim are in a very high level, or in higher level than it was before. But still, as I told you, we're not perfect, and probably there are a lot of things we need to do. These companies, there are 2 companies, Ma'of in the center in north, and one called Atid B'Yisum in south. They won a tender, and actually we started at a very bad level of quality, but we work with them already for 2 years, right? 3 years? 3 years, and they're improving. Of course, there is a way to go, but let's see what can we do. Like, how can we help you in personal? Because, as I understand, probably the system is not effective enough to find for you the right. Again, guys, I cannot promise anything, but I can promise the effort. Okay?
But if I may comment something, not only on my personal level, and that's what is told among Olims, and at least for Haifa, I'm not talking about Tel Aviv, but we are all tell between ourselves that now it's okay for very entry-level jobs, for people who want to work in a factory, or at best customer support or sales on the phone, but at a very, very entry level, and they are not qualified to understand and to help for
So I just, my one experience with Ma'of, I got offered to be an extra in a movie.
Yeah.
I got offered to be a Natsav in a movie.
Okay.
That was their only job.
which is pretty cool actually.
Okay. But I come
Extras.
from Hollywood, dude, and
No,
was
yeah.
been there, done that,
Just let
But I'm
go.
just saying there was no jobs for me. I hope it really, Ma'of has improved, I hope, because we're losing too many Olim who decide to leave, and they're so talented, and Israel could so benefit from them being here if they just got a little bit more help.
But for their defense, I think they are also understaffed. I mean, like in Haifa, there are 2, and I don't know how many people they are dealing with.
But they speak French? Did they speak French with you?
No, we speak Hebrew or in English. The language is not a problem. It's not.
Maybe not for you, but there are people that.
Okay. But they are speaking English pretty well.
The job in the line?
Kvaim. This is why I asked Kvaim, and they redirected me to the senior manager, and then I met him, and then I
Did you
had 4
approach Kvaim
interviews.
by the way?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
and they
approached by
didn't
him, and
help me.
I was helped somehow, but still was also it's work with some people. It depends on.
You know what is Sayeret?
Yes, I had commando.
Yeah, Sayeret is like commando. So Kvaim is a commando because we work together. We give them a little bit of finance, and they do actually a very good job for professionals in a high level.
Did you go to Tel Aviv? Kvaim in Tel Aviv?
Yeah, I was in touch with him. I will tell you the story.
Okay.
Okay, I think you wanted to talk, right?
Venezuela, right?
Yeah, from Venezuela.
Venezuela is in La Casa.
Yeah, first I want to thank Liami for the opportunity to connect with you. And then I want also to tell you, thank you for this meeting. It's very important for Olim to give you feedback. And probably you hear from Olim from all around the world. Well, my perspective is from Venezuela right now. Our Aliyah generally is really problematic because most of the people that I know, they just made Aliyah without even selling your car or your laptop or whatever. We just take our stuff and we move here. And the only issue that I really want to address here is the language. For us, for Latino people, like trying to connect with Israelis, it's very hard.
Why?
Because they don't get our accent in Hebrew. It's the thing. And then the
Do
second
you
thing,
think that the American accent is better?
I don't know.
Do you think I understand what he says?
I'm
just guessing most of the time.
So I think it's a point we can address because a lot of people that I know from my environment, from Venezuela, also from Brazil, they keep telling me, you know, the Ulpan wasn't enough. I want to continue my Hebrew studies, like for real, and I don't want to speak about my particular experience, but I want to Misrad Aliyah here. And they said to me, listen, the format from Haifa is very different from the format from Tel Aviv. So we cannot match your particular...
What?
Yes, that's what Misrad Aliyah, which is Sandra, she's from France, she said that to me.
What do you mean by saying
I don't
format?
know. I can show you that afterwards.
The format of what?
The Ulpan in Kiryat Yam, they have some way to count hours.
Did you finish your first Ulpan?
No, I never finished. I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the middle of the Ulpan there is Hagim. Then everybody disappears like for 1 month, 45 days. Then you have to leave the Merkaz Klita. Then it's like, okay, I just did like 3 months in my Ulpan. There was like a Hagim. Then you have to leave the Merkaz Klita. I have to make a living. So on the way, I didn't learn Hebrew enough. I mean, I learned in the streets some interaction that I have, but most of my friends are not they're not Israelis. And then the second point with the language is, I know the numbers in Israel, like Spanish is not even relevant, but for us that our mother tongue is Spanish, it's very hard to get into a ministry where everybody speaks Russian. They don't even get to understand us as a culture, and I don't get to understand. It took me like a year to understand Anna, which is my Yoetz Klita. Then she redirected me with Sandra, because she thought that French and Spanish is like the same language. I was like, okay, thanks for the effort, you know?
Same body language.
It's okay, it's related, but it's not the same language.
What about you know what is projector?
No.
The
There's-
guys from the municipality who needs to help?
I want to address one thing, information. It's very, I mean, at the beginning, your presentation, you give me answers to things that I didn't even hear about it. Information is vital. I'm gonna tell you this. In my experience in the Merkaz Klita, the less the officer will tell you, the less he has to do.
That's right.
It's a problem. Because me as Ole, what can I ask to this person? Like, hey, okay, I got to go to classes, but what about work? What about housing?
Okay.
And
I
one
think
thing,
that,
yeah, probably you hear this all the time because it's where you are sitting right now. But one of our main concerns, language. Keep going with the language. Why the second Ulpan have to pay like 3,000 shekels?
We don't need to pay.
Sorry, if you go to these offices.
Give me the book. When did you make Aliyah?
Last year.
Last year. So you're eligible for the private Ulpan, I think, right? We'll check it with your two. That's out later.
Okay.
But guys, you need to understand. First of all of you, or most of you, use English as a second language, right?
Yeah.
So Hebrew is much easier. Hebrew is much easier than English. You need to understand. It's very schematic language. Like if you know how to use the verbs, I'm not an English Hebrew teacher, of course. But if you know how to use the words, everything is just a matter of vocabulary. But I just want to answer the question. The system is very flexible today. I'm talking about the Hebrew learning. And I can tell you that we do everything to make sure that you will get maximum of opportunities to learn the language. So you can go to the regular Ulpan, you can receive the private Ulpan, You can also go for, we call it Ulpan Tasukati, meaning professional Ulpan. So there are a lot of options. And we will approach you, okay? And we'll give you all the options that you have. Now about the information. I hear a lot of stories about Olim who received information from different kind of sources. And these sources were not formal and not authorized. There are a lot of people who wants to help, okay? But not all of these people really know what kind of rights do you have, guys. So what I suggest, and I always say to all the guys, use the authorized sources of information. You can go to our website. It's not, perfect. And I also cannot do a quality assurance for Spanish because I don't speak this language. English, Russian, okay. Spanish, no. Okay, it's not even less, and also French. But we have a professional who does the quality assurance, and I think that we always improve the quality of the language in the website. But if you go to the website and you read the information there, you can come to the Yoetz Klita much more ready and ask relevant questions. Because you're right, not all the employees have high motivation. We're working on it. We're trying to, boost them to work. It not always happens, but we do our best. And again, guys, you have a website. You can call to our call center. Also, in each and every city, there are projectoring. You know who is projector? So, the ministry finances jobs of projectors in the cities. In Tel Aviv, we have 5, right? If I remember correctly, 5. And they speak the relevant languages according to the number of Olim speaking this language in the city. And these guys need or have to help you in your first steps in Israel. So if you don't know who these guys, I suggest you, Leami.
I honestly didn't know either.
What do they call?
This is the last in for me. And you know what? Well, it's good what you said before in the beginning. This is like a learning experience for you to hear some of the issues and to see how you ministry. This is a first for me. And
What do
I'm
they
the
call?
one that
What do they call?
What?
What do you?
Projector.
Projectory.
Yeah, and
it's
I know
like
that there are English speaking,
It's like a
Russian
it's
speaking,
like
French speaking.
Somebody
and if I'm
assisting
not
Olim
mistaken-
for a municipality.
Yeah, there is a Machleket Klita.
Yeah.
The absorption
I
department
had my
in the
first
municipality.
experience in Ramat
And
Gan.
there are, I think in Tel Aviv there are 5 people.
honestly, Tel Aviv is so bad. That's why I'm running for city council.
Good effort.
But no, I didn't know about any of this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I
No
found
one
out by
said-
Do you
accident.
know what is the name of Amir? Do, right? Do you know who's Amir?
Never heard of him.
He's the head of the absorption department in.
I
in
think I
Israel.
need to have a little powwow with this Mr.
Yeah, you need to talk to him. And actually, they are in the field.
They work in the Mossad because we don't know.
This is actually, it's very sad for me because we like, there are more than 200 projectors all over the country.
I found out by accident. No one in the Misrad Aliyah ever told me about that.
Alex, I want to add
And
something.
one more thing. If you go to our website, you can see their names, phones, and emails.
Yeah.
I want to add something.
And Leami, just to finish, Leami, you need to approach them.
Oh, I will. I'll ask Alona for the phone number and we'll get it done. Okay, wait, Sammy has one more question. We'll just finish your.
Just wanted to add something. Like, I totally understand bureaucracy because where I'm getting from Venezuela, bureaucracy is a game. You need to know how to play it. I know how to play bureaucracy, and probably because you are from Ukraine, Russia, you understand my mentality because we are similar. I learned this the last year. We understand bureaucracy as it is. I went to Misrad Aliyah in the north, here in Merkaz, mouth in the north, mouth here. I'm gonna be honest. Here in Inga is doing a great job. In Bali in the north, she's doing what he says, just giving entry-level jobs, just to justify they're doing something. I totally understand the Sukhmut is not for this. But I really want to tell you that the lack of information is vital in this process.
This is a big challenge for us.
Because as a community, I found a lot of people, they're here like for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and still they're like, we don't know nothing. And when they go to Misrad Aliyah, wherever, Haifa or here, they just say to them, what do you want? Like, the question is on me. Like, I have to know this.
You have to know what to ask.
Exactly, I don't know what to ask.
You don't know what you don't know. That's the biggest
Okay,
problem.
thank you. We want to talk.
Thank you, Adam.
Hi, okay, my name is Kelly. So I'm from South Africa, and I'm studying. I'm currently studying at the Bentoni at IDC Herzliya. So actually, recently a bunch of people that I really that I cared a lot about left Israel. Being in a student bubble where everyone's international, it means that a lot of people come and go all the time. And the truth is that we are missing a major opportunity to catch people who come to Israel with so much passion and so much love and want to integrate, but think it's easier in their own countries. And there's so many reasons that I can think of right now, and a lot of them are being discussed. I think there's other reasons. It may not be related to your ministry directly, but on the whole, there are so many problems in Israel that are so institutional that need major change. So I'm doing right now, while I'm asking you these questions, just to put it out there, I'm thinking of doing a research project with a group at IDC. We have lots of support in our research.
What are you studying?
I'm studying in government and diplomacy, and we're doing I'm in a fellowship called the Argov Leadership and Diplomacy Fellowship, and essentially what we do is we have a capstone project, and we have to choose one task in which we make policy recommendations to propose them to the government. So this is really meaningful for me tonight to be able to speak to you, because I have a lot of questions, but I'll leave them for other people to ask. I just have a few main problems. So I think with Olim comes foreign investors, because Olim come from different countries, and a lot of them, especially from the very wealthy diaspora in South Africa and where I'm from, they have a lot of money that they can potentially bring to Israel, and they're not bringing it because there's too much bureaucracy, it's too hard, especially the banking system. That I don't know if this is something that we can make a change through you guys pushing or something, but you cannot do online banking in English in various banks. That is not normal. Israel is a cultural melting pot. We're not like any other country in the world. We have in this room so many countries from all over the world represented. We need to have an international system that people can use from wherever they are. So websites in different languages, we've spoken about it. It's not hard to hire one person, a programmer who knows that language, to redo a website. I really think that there needs to be more push towards this. And the issue of like standardization, like you said, the ulpans are different all over, and there's different people in different offices. That should come from you guys. I think that you should make sure that you're doing checks all the time on these offices. And maybe we know we're in the world of I'm like a young student, digital world. We get our information from social media. So although we have a website with everything on, I think it will be very beneficial to have a video like that explains everything in English and Russian and French.
Did you visit our Facebook page?
No, not yet. But that I think that also needs to be pushed, to be sponsored, to be sent into the circles that have Olim on the networks. Like you have to target. But then, so firstly, I would just ask if there's any possibility in to move towards the banking, like in order to bring money into the country, because that's how we're going to sort out jobs. That's how we're going to sort out. But people don't even want to invest here, and I think that's one of the main problems.
You need to remember a couple very important things. First, this country is only 17 years old. It's a baby. And of course there are a lot of things to do. And if you want to do things here in this country, you need to be involved. Because I know a lot of people, just regular people, who do very big changes by pushing, by pressing, and by demanding. Also for the rise of Olim. You need to understand, guys, that no one does you a favor. Okay? All of us, you know, the ministry professionals and Sochnut Yehudit and all these guys, we do it because we understand that this is the most important thing for the country, the Aliyah. And if someone tells you that you're not obliged for something, you need to ask why. And if you don't receive the right answer, so you need to ask again, okay? Because this country is established by Olim, is developed by Olim, and it exists thanks to Olim. So we need to remember this. If you want to make change, you need to be active, and that's it. You can see that, you know, people talk a lot about the American dream. Who's from US? You know?
This guy.
Okay. What's your name?
Adam.
Adam, where are you from?
I lived 20 years in St. Louis, Missouri. I married Turney.
Okay. Okay. So, you know what is American dream, right? Everything is possible. But can you imagine new immigrant in United States who will become the minister, who will become Yoshev Rosh Knesset, who will become, I don't know, even Chaver Knesset? Can you imagine that this kind of thing will happen in US? And the answer is no. So the real dream.
Schwarzenegger, it's an exception.
Huh?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's an exception.
Henry Kissinger, also, I think Elizabeth Hong, but she's the daughter of immigrants.
Daughter of immigrants. That's different.
Also, and they're also immigrants, maybe in like the 50s and 60s.
Can you imagine someone from the American official government speaks English with an accent?
Yeah.
No. Huh?
Kissinger did it forever.
Yeah, but Kissinger, as you know, it's
That was 50 years ago.
I'm talking
60
about
years
I'm
ago.
talking about
Doesn't
current.
matter.
So guys, in this country, everything is possible. And if you need me to help you with your research, okay, so you can approach Alona. We can do some more deep interview because I understand that you have a lot of questions.
Okay, I think Beer wanted to talk, right?
Sure, I'll have a word. Hello, my name is Bear, and I arrived here about a year ago from Montreal, Canada.
There are a lot of Israelis who moved there and you came here.
Yeah, there are a lot of Israelis there, but they don't last long because it's too cold. 30 years. When I went to Misrad Aliyah here in Tel Aviv, I was living in Herzliya to begin with. I've experience with bureaucracy just like everyone, and bureaucrats are good and bad, and it's the same. I don't have a problem with that. I went to ask about, since I've been self-employed, I went to ask about being self-employed, and I made an appointment, and I asked them, will this person speak English? Because at the time my Hebrew was not very good. And they said yes. So I came to the appointment, they did not speak English. And that was the first problem. They spoke a very good Russian and Hebrew, but their English was non-existent. And my Hebrew was not good enough. It took me half an hour to explain to them, because as an artist, I make art, but I don't sell a lot of it. And to make a living, I have a small leather business, handmade leather bags. And so I wanted to know, how do I do this here? What are the technical things I need to do? Can I get help? I had this meeting, and I have to admit, unfortunately, this is one of the not good bureaucrats. The kind that gives as little information, so they have to do as little work as possible. They get their forms filled out, I sign it, he gets whatever he gets from his boss, and I get bupkis, unfortunately. So the particular problem that he gave me, I said, so I heard before I made Aliyah that if you make income outside of Israel, it's tax-free. What they didn't tell me was that if you make the goods that you get the income from in Israel, it's not tax-free.
Say it again.
So, if I make goods, I sell it on the internet.
Right.
All the money is made outside of Israel and is deposited in my bank account in Montreal. But that doesn't count because I make the bags in Israel.
Yeah.
No one, I didn't know that. Okay. I asked him, do I need to register? What do I need to do? Can you help me? What do I need to do? I don't know. I'm new, right? It was September, it was October, I arrived in September. No, you don't, how much money? First of all, he didn't understand what I did. It took me half an hour to explain that I did not want to buy bags and resell them. I made them myself. Oh, okay. So how much do you make? I said, well, not very much. It's a small business, maybe 4,000 shekels a month. Oh, forget it. It's nothing. You don't have to worry about it. I said, okay, fine. So I didn't worry about it. But then it became real. I was thinking, they're taxes. I have to make a tax return. No information whatsoever about how to make a tax return. No assistance on, well, how do you fill out the forms? They're not in English, right? No information about what?
In Tel Aviv?
Yeah, here on yeah. Okay, and the beginning of my Aliyah was very difficult for many reasons. My head was not really functioning properly for a good 6 months. Finally, after Pesach, I had also the Misrad Aliyah offers assistance for artists. So you submit an application, you bring your art. There's a small committee of artists. They tell you whether you're good, you're bad, or you're fantastic. And if you're good, if you're fantastic, you get some money. That's not so bad. So 1,500 shekels. I did that. But then that was it. There was nothing else that happened. No follow-up. They asked me, what is it that you need from us? I said, I need to meet people, and I need to make connections in the art world. Okay, go to openings. Okay, Chochem, I don't need that advice. That I know. Right? All right, so he didn't know. He couldn't tell me because he didn't know. That wasn't his job. Right? But there was no one else there who could tell me. Another department you have, which is in Holon, which offers further grants for those who have been designated at the top, which my muzzle, which was good. I got, they liked my work. But for this grant, which I asked, what's the maximum? There's no maximum you can ask for. There's a minimum, 3,000 shekels. They don't want to be bothered with any applications less than 3,000. That's fine. But I have to pay for everything I want. Then I submit the bills. And if they decide it's okay, then they give me the money. Sorry. No artist that I know of that's struggling for a living could put out 10,000 shekels for equipment, and then maybe they'll get some of it back. That doesn't work. So that's the first thing. As far as the registration for a business is concerned, now I'm stuck because I've been doing a little bit of business, and I'm not registered with the Misrad Misim and with any of that. Okay, and I had no understanding of how to do it or where to get the information. The other thing was Arnona. Tel Aviv offers a small subsidy for Arnona. Through the Misrad Aliyah, there's another grant for studio assistants. The conditions for studio assistants from the Misrad Aliyah, the artist must A, not make any money from his work, and B, not accept commissions from people who want to buy work from them. So the only assistance for artists from the Misrad Aliyah is for pure artists, people who are just like they're drawing and painting with no thought of selling. Try and find me an artist who doesn't want to sell his work or her work from their studio. So the 1,500 shekels I got from the Misrad Aliyah was wonderful. But for me as an artist, that is not very useful. I mean, okay, so 1,500 shekels, Arnona, gas, and that's gone. What's very useful is a show. One show. Olim. artists are coming from Olim. When I was there at the Misrad Aliyah, there were a dozen artists waiting. So there must be many people coming who are artists. So instead of giving $1,500 or 1,500 shekels, or even find a way to organize the first year of your Olim or your Orlet, you will have a show if you make it into that topic.
Okay, thank you for your
Can I say
question.
something? Can I say something about artists? Tel Aviv is offering you studios for artists free.
You have to live in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Arnona thing is only for Tel Aviv. Maybe you can do something with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs to have it spread to Ramat Gan or Tzaliyah.
Regarding the municipalities in Israel, each and every municipality is independent. But I think that Ramat Gan does a very good job for Olim. And there's a guy called Alex Schmidt.
I met Elisha Ackerson from the Machleket Olim Ramat Gan.
Did she help you?
You know, I mean, it's hard to help artists. I understand.
Yeah,
we're not easy. We're not easy. I understand.
Let's be honest.
I'm not complaining. I'm just suggesting that there are other things that you might be able to do, because it's much more important for me to be able to contact people through and have them see my work than to get 1,500 shekels.
Yeah. So what is important for you right now is to register your business.
Okay.
And for that, we will contact you with the right person.
Okay.
Okay. And he or she will help you how to register the business. Regarding the idea of making a show, a big show for artists, we're actually thinking about it just in these days. So
I'll volunteer. Take my name. I'd be happy to work.
yeah, so we need to know. You know, the idea is not only to give you an option to show your work. We need to encourage people inside. Right?
Of course.
So,
But if
it's
you
a
have,
little bit
but if you have an arrangement, you know, if you have contacts with people in the art world, right? And every year you have one show for the Olim that arrived that year, and everybody knows, and so they'll be interested to go see what's new.
yeah, it's an interesting idea. We will consider.
And I'd love to help you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Let's go to Miss.
I was organizing shows in Canada.
You have to come closer because we're not.
I also have a question. Sorry.
Hold on, we have an order. Okay. Hi.
Hi. Well, first of all, I want to say sorry for your bad experience, because like it's not good, and I'm with you.
Thank you.
Honestly. And well, I've got some questions for you, but if you will have a time, I will prefer to just talk with you face to face, yeah, privately. But I've got a question about my friend who, unfortunately, in Israel, understood that he got an HIV positive, and because of that, and he understood it before the Hagim, before the last holidays, and that's why all this months of September he was in a huge depress, and his immunity got very, very bad, and he gets sick. And unfortunately, after the Hagim, he started to he get ill, and he couldn't work after that. So my question is, probably the Ministry of Aliyah and Absorption got some help for people like him who unfortunately have an opportunity to work. But
how long is he in Israel?
8 months as I do. We get friends here and we support each other. Like, it's not about me, it's not about my husband, and it's just for a close friend. We met in Ulpan Ranana, where we were boss.
Actually, there are things that we can do for him, but we need to contact him.
Yeah, so like the main question, can I give you his contacts and
yes,
like?
you can give the contacts to Alon and we will.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. No. This is the representative from Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is in the house. You want to say something? Okay, she doesn't. You want to say something? Okay, let me come to you.
Hello, my name is Adam. I've been in Israel for about 8 years. I came.
8 years?
Yes.
So you can speak Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a returnee. I lived here when I was a child. Lived in the States for 20 years, but that's beyond. I have a bachelor's in anthropology, and I found that academia around the world, also in Israel, I think it's somewhat imploding. Makes it difficult for some of liberal arts degrees, and I've been trying to find information about like retraining into a new profession that's actually viable in the market. I'm trying to find information and somehow to fit Olim. Those academic skills might not square away with the current needs of the market, so they can be retrained. Also, that's why I've tried to become. I'm a licensed security manager in Israel, also a licensed fireman instructor, but I'm not getting ahead. So I didn't do the military here, so
I'm not sure that I understood you, but as I told in the beginning of the meeting, there are more than or around 3,000 professional courses that are funded by our ministry, where you can get a new profession, or you can You can upgrade your quality, your skills in your current profession. What we need to check is if you are eligible for that, because you are Israeli returnee, right? And you're
it's up to 10 years, I think.
Yeah. So again, just leave your contacts to Alona, your details, and we will contact you and tell you what is relevant for you. Okay?
What is the amount of scholarship that you give to these courses? Is it the one that's
7,000 shekels, yes.
Okay, we have an online question. You're being live on Facebook. We have an online question from Jessica. Hi, I made Aliyah with my 9-year-old daughter 8 months ago, and still she didn't get her opan hours from school. The school tells me it's absolutely not their fault, and the bureaucracy in Israel is long. Why? How can she follow? How come we don't get what we are promised? That's from Jessica.
Jessica, first of all, it's important to know where you live, in which city?
Bat Yam.
Bat Yam. And what is the name of the school that your child is going to? And I don't know, maybe you will give your contacts to Liami, and Liami will pass it
I'll
us.
get her contacts.
Yeah, and we will try to help you in person.
Okay. Do we have any other question online? Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Oh, we have one last question. Okay, back to South Africa.
This meeting has been positive in one sense, in that every time someone's had a problem, you've actually been like, I can help you, I can deal with it, give me your contacts. And that's amazing, because that's a good start, because that means that there are solutions. I think it now just needs, instead of being on an individual level, because we now have a connection with you, like, it needs to be able to be applicable to everyone in the country.
So I just want to say one thing on piggybacking what you just said. About 1.5 years ago, I met Alex. And I got to tell you, we have so many Olim that have no food, that are homeless, that have so many problems. And all the time, they write to us, they contact us. I pass it to Alona, and Alona is taking care of many of KeepOlim's Olim. So when this man says he'll do something, he tries the best that he can. He can't help in all the cases, but I think a lot of the cases here tonight, he could help push you in the right direction.
Guys, as I told you in the beginning, I cannot promise that I will solve all the problems, but I can promise that me and the ministry that I'm managing will try to do a maximum that we can in order to help you, and not only because you have now with me the personal connection, because there are a lot of Olim who don't have the connection, but actually we are open. Our doors are always open. You can call us to the call center. You can contact us through the Facebook, through our Facebook pages in all the languages. And you can contact also me through my page, Facebook page. Just, you can write me the personal message. I'm trying to answer as quick as I can, because this is part of our job. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
On behalf of all of you, I want to thank Mr. Alex for coming. It's not easy to hear all these fetching and complaining, but there are happy Olim and we want all of you to stay here. So if you guys, you know, a lot of you have contacted me and I've tried to help you as best as I can, and we'll continue that. So tell your friends to join KeepOlim and to write to Alex. Alona is in KeepOlim. Alona has actively been reading the problems and actually tagging herself and telling people to contact her. So they're being very proactive instead of waiting for the Alma to write them and call them. So thank you so much to Darovash for coming. Thank you in Facebook land for watching. We'll talk to you real soon. Toda. Shalom. Erev Tov.